Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnanjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurabhe Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manubhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahayam Dadati Shvapadam Tikam Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. The text number is 29. I don't know if you have the verse written somewhere.
There is.
Oh, there is the verse. All right. So those of you who can read it, maybe later on can repeat it. Samo Hum Sarva Bhutasu Na Me Vishyo Asti Na Priya Ye Bhajanti Tu Mam Bhaktya Mai Te Teshu Chapi Aham Samoham Sarvabhutesu Namidvisyosti na priya Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya Maite teshu chapyaham Samoham sarvabhuteshu Namidvisyosti na priya Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya Maite teshu chapyaham Samoham sarvabhuteshu Namidvisyosti na priya Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya Maite teshu chapyaham
Samam Sarvabhuteshu.
Namidvisyosti na priya.
Bhajanti tumam bhaktya. Maite teshu chapyaham. Samoham sarvabhuteshu. Namidvisyosti na priya. Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya. Maite teshu chapyaham. Samaham sarvabhuteshu. Namidvisyosti na priya. Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya. Maite teshu chapyaham.
Ladies,
Samaham sarvabhuteshu. Namidvisyosti na priya. Jevayanti tumam bhaktya. Maite shuchapiyaham.
Samoham sarvabhuteshu. Namidvisyosti na priya. Je bhajanti tumam bhaktya. bhaktya.
Je bhajanti tumam bhaktya.
Maiteshu chapyaham.
Maiteshu chapyaham.
Samam sarvabhutesu.
Samam sarvabhutesu.
Name dveshosti na priyaham.
Name dveshosti na priyaham.
Je bhajanti tumam bhaktya.
Je bhajanti tumam bhaktya.
Maiteshu chapyaham.
Maiteshu chapyaham.
Samam.
Samam.
Equally disposed.
Equally disposed.
Aham.
Aham.
I.
I.
Sarva Bhutesu.
Sarva Bhutesu.
To all living entities.
To all living entities.
Na.
Na.
No one.
No one.
Me.
Me.
To me.
To me.
Dveshya.
Dveshya.
Hateful.
Hateful.
Asti.
Asti.
Is.
Is.
Na.
Na.
Near.
Near.
Priya.
Priya.
Dear.
Dear.
Ye.
Yea.
Those who.
Those who.
Bhajanti.
Bhajanti.
Render transcendental service.
Render transcendental service.
To.
To.
But.
But.
Mam.
Mam.
Unto me.
Unto me.
Bhaktya.
Bhaktya.
In devotion.
In devotion.
Mai.
Mai.
Are in me.
Are in me.
Te.
Te.
Such persons.
Such persons.
Teshu.
Teshu.
In them.
In them.
Cha.
Cha.
Also.
Also.
Api.
Api.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Aham.
Aham.
I.
I.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. I envy no one, near impartial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. One might question here that if Krishna is equal to everyone and no one is a special friend, then why does he take a special interest in the devotees who are always engaged in his transcendental service? But this is not discrimination. It is natural. Any man in this material world might be very charitably disposed, yet he has a special interest in his own children. The Lord claims that every living entity, in whatever form, is his son. And so he provides everyone with a generous supply of the necessities of life. He's just like a cloud which pours rain all over, regardless of whether it falls on rock or land or water. But for his devotees, he gives specific attention. Such devotees are mentioned here. They are always in Krishna consciousness, and therefore they are always transcendentally situated in Krishna. The very phrase Krishna consciousness suggests that those who are in such consciousness are living transcendentalists situated in him. The Lord says here distinctly, Maite, they are in me. Naturally, as a result, the Lord is also in them. This is reciprocal. This also explains the words Yeyatamam prapadyante tamstataiva bhajami aham. Whoever surrenders unto me, proportionately, I take care of him. This transcendental reciprocation exists because both the Lord and the devotee are conscious. When a diamond is set in a golden ring, it looks very nice. The gold is glorified, and at the same time, the diamond is glorified. The Lord and the living entity eternally glitter, and when a living entity becomes inclined to the service of the Supreme Lord, it looks like gold. The Lord is a diamond, And so this combination is very nice. Living entities in a pure state are called devotees. The Supreme Lord becomes the devotee of his devotees. If a reciprocal relationship is not present between the devotee and the Lord, then there is no personalist philosophy. In the impersonal philosophy, there is no reciprocation between the Supreme and the living entity. But in the personalist philosophy, there is. The example is often given that the Lord is like a desired tree, and whatever one wants from this desired tree, the Lord supplies. But here the explanation is more complete. The Lord is here stated to be partial to the devotees. This is the manifestation of the Lord's special mercy to the devotees. The Lord's reciprocation should not be considered to be under the law of karma. It belongs to the transcendental situation in which the Lord and his devotees function. Devotional service to the Lord is not an activity of this material world. It is part of the spiritual world, where eternity, bliss, and knowledge predominate. I envy no one, nor am partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend. He is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Mukam karoti vachalam pangurlangayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Gurum dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Hare Krishna, thank you for coming. Hare Krishna. So, the Lord is a person. And as every person has sentiments and proclivities, feels affection, and is vulnerable. Now one may say, how can God, the Supreme Person, be vulnerable? But it's not that he's vulnerable because someone shoots a rocket at him or a torpedo and he can be injured. No, he's not vulnerable in that sense. He's vulnerable in the sense that he cannot resist in reciprocating love that is offered to him. Every person that is a person is touched by love, is touched by affection, is moved and is brought to humbleness and meekness by true affection, true love. We are like this. And we are like this because we are parts of Krishna. So, Krishna is the supreme vulnerable person. He is the ultimate vulnerable person. No one is more vulnerable than him when true love and affection can be offered to him. But they have to be true love and affection. It cannot be fake. It cannot be artificial. It cannot be pretended or shown but not felt. We are conditioned souls. We are fragmental parts of Krishna, very teeny, infinitesimal. And we are overpowered by the material energy, by Maya Devi, that which is not, the illusion. Therefore, we are prone to be cheated. We are prone to cheat and be cheated. No one in this world is a saint. It's not a world of saints or pure souls. We are conditioned souls. That means we are prisoners. Why? because of this tendency to exploit others, to cheat others. But then the law of karma is like a big, infinite video game, one of those games, with a limitless PlayStation, universal PlayStation, multi-universal PlayStation. The law of karma means that you try to exploit others and others try to exploit you. Therefore, when there is this exchange of love, you cannot really detect if someone how much really is loving you, how sincere, how purely he is loving you. Many people, there's many histories, many stories of people becoming cheated by some form of love, but then it wasn't real. You know the history of Judith and Oloferne, that he was the brother of what's his name? Famous in Persia, no, in Assyria. It's history. Nabucodonosor was the big, and his brother was Oloferne, the god of war. And he went to conquer the Jews, etc. But then, one lady came and he fell in love with her, even though she came with a knife. And then she said, "I'm sorry, I didn't really want to stab you. I was just carrying a knife because just in case I found, an apple, I would have cut it and peel it for you." So even though she had gone there with a knife, he felt she was so beautiful, he fell in love with her. And she cut his head. She'd severed the head from the body, and she went on the terrace with the head afterwards and showed it to the soldiers of Oloferne. But they all ran away because they were thinking that he would be invulnerable, that he was the god of war. So he is one of the examples that didn't really understand exactly the motivation and the feelings of the person who was telling him that she would love him. So, in this world we are prone to be cheated, but Krishna cannot be cheated. Why? Because Krishna is within our heart, and we are living in Krishna. It's not that the environment is a neutral environment, and okay, I'm what I am, I live in this environment, Krishna lives in the same environment, maybe again, No, the environment is Krishna. Krishna is the environment. The material environment, the spiritual environment, anywhere you may go, any air you may breathe, whether it's material, oxygen, or spiritual air, there's also air and wind in the spiritual world. Wherever you go, whichever light you see, whichever scenery you see, is Krishna. So we are living in Krishna, even though we may not realize it. And Krishna is within the core of our hearts. It means He is the origin and support of our own consciousness, our own personal consciousness, individuality and personality. He is at the basis of me, of you. Is at the basis. Every one of us has to think, there is a me because Krishna is the support of this me, is the basis of this me. Otherwise there wouldn't be a me. There wouldn't be an I. So, how can you cheat him? It's not possible. But Krishna is very kind. He doesn't say, "Oh, you want to live without me, you want to be a conditioned soul, you want to try to compete with me and others, okay, I'll give you up and I don't want to have anything to do with you forever." No. He provides for everyone. He provides the body. I didn't create my own body, you did not create your own body. we would have all created it a little different, right? A little, not much. Some may think, I'm almost there, but something we would have modified. So, and of course, especially regarding the age. And so, we haven't created our own body. Krishna has given us our bodies. Krishna has given us also our minds, intelligence, and egos, everything. I haven't created my mind. I don't even know what form it has. Sometimes it scares me, my own mind. So it really doesn't belong to me. It's something that has been given to me. Who has never been surprised by his own mind, by what his own mind came up with? Raise up your hand. If you never ever been surprised of what the mind could come up with. That's so. And intelligence. Sometimes remember these strips comic where you see the light bulb that goes on, and someone has an idea. Where does it come from? Where does it come from? The intelligence, the understanding of the penetration of things and principles doesn't come from us. It's something that is given to us. So Krishna is giving us everything, our body, our minds, our intelligence. And therefore, he is very kind. He didn't say, okay, these jivas, these souls, I put a crux on it, let's put them in a unmanifested state, and I don't want to hear about them anymore. I don't want to have anything to do with them anymore. Never ever. We could do that because we, as conditioned souls, when we have some problem with someone, we want to cancel him. But Krishna doesn't do that. He doesn't cancel really anyone. And he has sent us in this world for two reasons. One, so that we could try to enjoy without him, and the other one is that by suffering and by seeing what it means to live without him, we may be inclined to again try to understand if there is a God and what is our relationship with him. But while we are in this world, his very sameness, equanimity, is equal to everyone. It doesn't say, oh, you've taken birth as a human, then and in this particular family, oh, I'm so happy about it. A human. I really like humans. Oh, you've taken birth as a pig? Well, what a nonsense! I don't want anything to do with you. Dirty pig. It doesn't have this kind of namidvishya stinapriya. No one is. I hate no one. I don't have repulsion. I don't feel repulsion for anyone, even for the worm in the stool. He doesn't feel repulsion. He's in the heart of the worm also. He's there with him. He has no interest in what he's doing, really, but he's there with him. He's there with him. But he has no interest even what a very famous human being is doing. He has no interest in what, tell me someone who is on the crest, who's supposed to be the crest jewel of of what Brad Pitt is doing, or you tell me whom, whatever, or the new scientist, or this, he doesn't, he has no interest at all. It's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. Therefore, he is equal to everyone. It doesn't say, oh, this illusion is very nice, I really want to get into it. No, this illusion that I don't care about. No, there's nothing like that. It's illusion. And he is the illusionist. He is the one beyond illusion. So he sees perfectly, with perfect discrimination, what is reality and what is illusion. So it doesn't get involved. Therefore, he is equal to everyone. Namedveshu stinapriya. Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. But if in this illusory projection, in this illusory representation, one of the jiva at one point turns to him and wants to love him. Then he is moved. Okay, why? Because of affection, because of his nature, because he knows, he has never forgotten that jiva, that soul, is part of him. As a good mother or father, good ones, they will never forget or sever the relationship with their son or daughter. It'll never be, it's not possible, because everything is possible in this material world. I mean, examples are examples. But it will never, take the example for what it is. A good mother and father, they will never be able, even if the son has stolen, tried to stab them and rob them and betray, they will not be able to, because there is a strong tie within the heart. It's a strong tie. The mother will think he was in me as in part of, they think they are their bodies, so his body is my body, and we have this, how can I give him up? So even if it becomes a nonsense, try to help him or her. We'll try to help. We'll try to give. So that's due to affection. And Krishna is perfect in this. Achyuta, infallible. He will never, because he never falls into illusion. Illusion is one of his energies, so he can never be illusioned. He never forget that you are part of him. Oh, he is part of me. He is very intimately connected with me. He knows what the loving relationship with that particular soul is. He knows it for every one of us. He knows it, and therefore, when he sees a sign of reawakening of that love, of that attachment for him, is immediately moved. We were discussing the other day, I guess it's a long discussion, I want to repeat it. But just to give the gist of it, let's say that a son runs away from the family and he calls, for some reason, he has a dog, and he calls him, give me a female name, Marta, okay. Finds his dog Marta, and he is, drunk, and he's, whatever it is, and he leaves the family, goes, he spaces out, whatever, in Timbuktu, Calcutta, and Samarkanda, wherever he goes, for some reason, someday, he's there, and the father are there, they happen to be nearby, and he is calling the dog. He's calling the dog, Martha. Even he's calling the dog, the mother, because the mother's name is Martha, something vibrating in her heart. And she's inclined to go and help him, even though he's not calling her, he's calling the dog. That's due to an affection that cannot be removed from the heart. That's our salvation. That's why we are saved. Because Krishna will not forget us. He will never, ever, ever forget us. And therefore, when there is a small, even we are turning toward him for some, whatever, material reason even sometimes, because we are suffering, or because we need something, or because of curiosity, or because of something, he will not say no. The mother will not say, oh, he's calling the dog. He's not calling the dog. No, he will not say that. She has heard the son mention the name Martha, which means death in Sanskrit, but I chose the wrong name, but but anyhow, Hare Krishna, Shigor Nitai Ki Jai. Martya Lokam Vishanti, we are in the Martya Lokam. So she won't resist. Her heart vibrating when she hears that name. So the same way Krishna, even if, he says, Chaturbida bhajante mam, janana sukritinarjuna, I accept these people. They are coming for some material reason even. Okay, why does he accept these people? Because they are the codes of religion, I have to accept them, I'm God, I gotta be good, No, is that the reason? Is that the reason? No, that's not the reason. The reason is affection, deep affection. We have forgotten how much he loves us, and we have forgotten how much we love him. That's the reality of the situation. So when he sees that, especially when someone consciously tries to love him again in an unmotivated and uninterrupted way. When someone really wants to love him and says, oh, maybe I approached you for this, like Dhruva Maharaj said, I approached you for this or I approached you for that, but now I understand how kind, how loving you are in relation to me. I really want to love you with all my heart. When he sees that, then you have conquered him. It's done. He will not give you up. He'll do anything. He'll cheat for you. He'll go beyond the general moral even rules or regulations. He'll do anything to get you back. When he sees that intensity, that deep, convinced, immovable, incontrovertible, potent desire to love. So then he becomes partial. Maite tesuchapya. He's in me. What does it mean he's in me? We all in Krishna, even the ant, even a bug here, you don't have so many here like in India, but even a small bug is in Krishna. He can't get out of Krishna because everything, Krishna's energy is everywhere. But what does it mean he's in me? Means I'm thinking of him. I'm thinking of him the way our relationship is. Just like, again, we have to give some example. Let's say that this guy that has left the family, consciously tries to reawaken and go back, realizing with gratitude and with affection how much love the mother and the father have given. And he really tries, said, I've become a madman, forgive me, amnesia, crazy, nut. But I'm trying to get back to you. And they see that sincerely he wants to love them again. Then immediately, the mother, how much more the mother will, and the father will try to, do anything for him. Do anything for him or her. Do anything. They'll do anything. So, the same thing. Krishna is partial with those who love him. But the good thing is, the good news, is that everyone can love him. That we are all parts and parcels of Krishna. There is no a group of chosen ones, I don't know if there are any members of the Jewish community here, but there are no chosen ones. Everyone is chosen. Everyone is, even those in a warm body. There are no chosen ones. And there is no, I hope there are no Jehovah's Witnesses also. There is no a fixed number, 520,000, it's with number, what is your number?
144,000.
40, whatever it is, however many, there's always, no, every soul, every living entity, every soul in whatever body ultimately will go back to Krishna. Prabhupada said once in Vrindavan during a class, I remember, he paused and then he said, ultimately everyone goes back to Krishna. And we were all relieved, because, you don't know how long will it take. Ultimately everyone will go back to Krishna. So this is why he becomes partial, because he is, you are in him, he's thinking of him. Is thinking of you. I'm sorry. Is thinking of you. Everyone is in Krishna, also the ant. But to be, what it means is that is in me. I'm thinking of him. Is in my mind. Just like that person that is dear to you is you're always thinking of him or her. It's natural. And if he thinks of you, and not as he is doing as Paramatma is thinking of the worm, of the elephant, of the deva, of the human, whatever they do, Yastindra Gopa Atavindra Maosvakarma Vandana Rutva Falabhajana Matanoti. He gives the Falabhajana, the fruits of karma to everyone. That is impartiality. Is not that thinking, is the thinking of Bhagavan, of your eternal lover, your eternal friend. That is back to think of you, oh, my friend is coming back. My friend is coming back, he thinks. My friend is coming back. So this thinking is a thinking of love, thinking in a mood of love. And that's fantastic, because the living entity, however many problems he may have, if Krishna is there to help him, to be partial for him, to what can the material nature do ultimately? Material nature, illusion, is one of his energy. He will lift that illusion. He will cut through that illusion and bring the loving soul back to him. But as we said, this happens for those those who were trying to find real love for Krishna, uninterrupted and unmotivated love. We have to go for that. We shouldn't try to cheat Krishna in any way. We should try to be completely devoted to him. Liberated souls are called devotees, Prabhupada says. Perfect souls are called devotees, because in our constitutional position we are all devotees. Now, what are the obstacles to that unmotivated and uninterrupted love for Krishna and devotion for Krishna? What are the obstacles? Basically, the obstacle is one, the desire to enjoy separately from him. That takes the form, also takes many forms. From the grossest forms, I got this body, let me squeeze it as much as I can, until I drop dead, and that's it. I don't want to hear about anybody. Whatever little drop of pleasure I can still squeeze out of it, I will do. Okay, that's a Muda, Narada, a person that's really gone out for sense gratification. But in order to be free to think like this, like a mad guy, one has to have a philosophy. So the basic philosophy to be allowed to live like a sense gratifier and to avoid having to relate to God, and this mentality stays until we become perfectly pure. The basic philosophy is that it's got two names: materialism or impersonalism. And in the middle is voidism. It doesn't mean that it's the right stuff, but it's just another mental concoction. It's two sides of a coin. Materialism means it's all matter. It's all matter. It's all material energy. It's the way it is. It's taken the form of aquatics, reptiles, birds, mammals, Amsterdam, Rome, whatever, it's with Dutch, Americans, Armenians, whatever it may be. It's just by chance. It's something happened, we don't know what, and we don't care about it. or they try to give some explanation. It's all matter. There's nothing else. Therefore, all the things, even love, it's a chemical reaction. Never heard about it? Now the latest one, that's a real good one. I really love that one. I saw many. I thought I could never be surprised, but this one was good. It's always from America because they are there. The most advanced. They found there's a pill now. It's made of the name is Tol Capone. Sounds like a mafia boss, you know. His name is similar. Tol Capone. That's the answer. Tol Capone. You know what it does? Can you imagine what it does? This pill? And they made the experiment. It makes one become compassionate. Yeah. You take Tol Capone and you become compassionate. He says it makes you feel the pain of others. You know, empathy. You know this term, empathy. You know, it comes from Greek, and pathos. Means inside pain. You feel pain inside when you see someone else having pain, like paradukkha dukkhi, you say. It's empathy. No, you take before you were like a slave merchant, with a whip, trading slaves from Burundi to Portugal or whatever it is, or for dismantling them and selling their organs, 2 kidneys here. How much you need? I need three lungs here, And then you take Tol Capone and you feel, how these people are suffering so much, and it makes you feel compassion, it makes you feel the pain, seeing others' pain, it gives you equanimity. I mean, this Tol Capone is far out. You go and look at it in the internet, Tol Capone, and you'll find it. And equanimity. They said, we made an experiment, we gave him some money. Before taking Tol Capone, they were giving the money, okay, this guy I like, I'll give him, $100. This guy, I like him $5. Like this. They take Tol Capone, they give $50 to everyone. Never mind who they are. I mean, so this is materialism. This is the material philosophy. It's all due to neural pathways in the brain. Compassion, love, affection, charitably disposed. That's Tol Capone. You become charitably disposed. Everything is due to the neuropathways in the brain, neural circuits in the brain. You modify that, you inhibit something, and excite something else. It's all inhibition and excitation, and then you get the very balanced person. So the next pill will be gratitude. Now there is the pill of compassion. But what if someone received the compassion and is not grateful? So they'll give a pill for gratitude. Oh, thank you, but no. I mean, you're so, he gave you this compassion. You're not grateful to him. Take a pill. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for your compassion. So it'll be like this. And the pill for affection. My husband comes back at home and he looks at me and he spits on the floor and he goes to sleep, or goes and see a football game. Give him the pill of marital affection, family affection. The husband comes back, he's pissed off for some reason. You give him a pill. Oh, dear wife, how are you today? Have you cooked? Everything is wonderful. Let's sit on the sofa together and look at the birds flying in the sky. So that's everything. Everything can be done by pills. That's what they're telling you. Materialistic consciousness and philosophy. It tells you that everything will be solved by pills because it's all in the brain. Even your identity is in the brain. Even your consciousness is in the brain. Absurd philosophy, because they think they can make one person compassionate, but they cannot create even one cell. They can play like kids, like little children. Oh, yeah, let's play with this, and let's do it this way, let's do it that. But but they cannot create even one cell. They cannot create one egg. The egg is a cell, right? It's one cell. One egg. One egg. They cannot create. But they think they can become like God. Suridam, Sarvabhutanam, friends of everyone. Okay, Tol Capone for you. They'll put it, everyone take Tol Capone, they will create the perfect society. They cannot create one egg. One cell. And what about a neuron in the brain who is the super most complex, unit? One, and we have 10 billions or something, like in a small skull, right? Yeah, they can, and they think, oh no, it's all matter, it's just like this. We take a few pills, we'll inhibit something, we'll play with the switches. Switched off this so he's not violent and he's compassionate. And open up this, that's it. So this crazy philosophy that doesn't explain anything and inhibits completely the intelligence of a human being, that should be rejected. Materialistic philosophy is the most absurd. Well, not the most. The most absurd is the impersonalist philosophy. The impersonalist philosophy beats the materialistic philosophy. Because the materialist, at least, he says, okay, here is the wood, here is the flesh, here is the muscle, here is the money, here is the motorbike, and goes. Here is the art, here is the music, like that. The impersonalist philosophy, it beats it, because it's even more stupid, more absurd. It says that nothing exists. It says, the absolute truth is immovable, unchangeable, eternal, and so if there are any forms, even if a mosquito flies in the absolute truth, that is not unchangeable anymore. What do you mean? The absolute truth, and then you have a mosquito, you have a little black dot there. It can't be. The absolute truth is unchangeable. It can never change. But it can never. In the moment you have some movement, you have time, and time is destructive. So absolute truth, no time. There should be no time, no forms. Forms means limitation. So the absolute truth has no form, no time, no qualities, no features. And then you say, excuse me, I gotta take the tram or the bus to, Amsterdam North or whatever it is, the train. Does it exist? No, it doesn't exist. So your body doesn't exist, the tram doesn't exist, nothing exists. The tax department doesn't exist. You don't pay, they come and get you. So Prabhupada used to say, okay, this impersonalist philosophy, tell them to come and express it to me, and I'll kick them in the mouth with boot. He didn't say, I'll just kick them in the mouth normally, with boot. With boot meant, I really make them feel that the mouth exists. Because, you kick them without the boot, he may have, good teeth and, may not feel it so much. But if you kick him with boot, then you really feel that the mouth exists. So how can one negate these forms? They may be temporary, they may be corrupted forms in the sense that they are dying. The very moment you are born, you start to die. And if you analyze, I won't go in detail. Sometimes devotees go in gory details of what the material form is, and they make a big list of all the nasty things that are in the body. I won't go on that side today, but they exist. Nonetheless, they exist. They are here. So, what is the real explanation? What is this world? This world, the only possible explanation is not only matter, there is matter. Matter exists. These forms exist, but there is also spiritual energy, the souls that animate this world. And there must be an original source, the fountainhead of all these energies, a controller that sees and manages this incredible, wonderful, extremely intelligent arrangement. Now, the glory of the devotee, that glitters like gold, Prabhupada says, the glory of the devotee is that he not only wants to know who that person is, who that original source is, but he wants to love him. He doesn't hate him, he doesn't have resentment. Oh, look at that, you've given me a body only 178 tall, I wanted to be 2 meters, 0.2. Why not? Why you've given me a short body, or whatever it is, He doesn't have resentment. He understands that this is an illusion. And whatever position he has in the world of illusion doesn't have any significance, really. It doesn't mean, really, ultimately anything. But let me understand, because especially in the human life, everyone can sense, can have the intuition that the supreme controller, the supreme person, wants to have a relationship with him. It's ingrained within the consciousness. When you take a human birth, you know that there is some attraction for transcendence, the attraction for that which is beyond our sense perception. It's ingrained in the human culture. Prabhupada once said, to take a human birth means to already to have a certain degree of Krishna consciousness, just by taking the human birth. Because you have that intuition, you have that aspiration within the heart. Now you may suffocate it, you may kill it with whatever you want, but it was born with you. By taking that body, you have got that. So if you cultivate that and you bring it to completion, you bring it to success, then there's this beautiful simile by Srila Prabhupada. The soul becomes the devotee. And the devotee is like gold, and Krishna is like a diamond in the heart. The heart of the devotee, the consciousness of the devotee is just like a gold ring. And Krishna is a beautiful diamond, they call him the blue diamond, is set in this beautiful ring. And they both beautify each other. Sometimes we think, I go back to, okay, let's say that God exists, is true, there must be a controller and he loves me, even, okay, but then I go back there, there's so many souls. There's so many souls, how will he notice me? How, I'll be soul number 49 trillion billion, 42, it's and then maybe I'll get a chance to see him, that's Krishna, what do I may get lost there, I may get lost, I may even be disappointed. That's fear of one's own real identity, and frustration. And then one says, okay, now let me be humble. Let me go back to my sense gratification, to my material life. I'm humble. I don't want to become a big devotee. You know what I mean? Like this. But that's due to the fear that one will be lost there and will not really. But never forget that Krishna is absolute. And his absolute powers mean that he can give each one of us full attention, full love, full affection, full reciprocation, without neglecting anyone else. This is unknown in the world. There is some person that may think, okay, I love you all the same. It can never be possible, in this world, I love you all the same. Then times these big stars, I love you, public, it's just, then, okay, goes out the stage, somebody comes, can you ever, just leave me alone, I got stuff to do, So it's because but I was part of the one you said you love. Yes, I loved you as a whole, but then if you become individual, so I say, that just leave me alone. I got other stuff to do. So the thing is, it works like this. But Krishna is not like that. Krishna lives in your heart. Even if you have taken a body of a crocodile, you know what I mean? Or an anaconda, which is worse than a crocodile probably, he is there with you in the body of an anaconda. Can you imagine if what have you done to take the body of what an anaconda is? Those big snakes, they eat crocodiles. They can eat a crocodile. I've seen, they can eat it. They stay under the water like this. Then there was a crocodile coming, says he must swim, and boom, it went around the crocodile. They stop his heart. I mean, this is of course not necessarily, in the Bhagavatam, but it stops the heart of the crocodile. It doesn't suffocate him. It stops the heart. It's so strong, and then he opens up his mouth. His jaw becomes disjoined, big, and then he gets a crocodile, and you see the crocodile going in his body, and his body takes the shape of a crocodile, and he's there digesting the crocodile. Then he stays there for a week digesting a crocodile, because it must be worse than a hot dog, a crocodile, or even or rat. It must be. Even McDonald's cannot. They haven't made the crocodile burgers yet because they've done probably with everything else, but the crocodile burger they haven't done because it must be a little heavy to chew, and digest. But it digests the crocodile. So what kind of sinful activities one must have done to have been taken birth as a crocodile, both a crocodile and an anaconda? But Krishna is there in the heart. It doesn't give you up. So, if it doesn't give you up even in these circumstances, why should he give you up in the spiritual world? Why shouldn't he be able to completely fulfill your loving desire, your loving propensity? Why shouldn't he be able perfectly to, because that's his desire also. His desire. It's not that he has some souls. Oh, these souls I like, these other souls, they didn't come out right. They're all part and parcels of him. He's very happy of himself, of his own transcendental form, of all his parts and parcels, of which we are part of his transcendental form, Prabhupada said. It's not like a conditioned soul that says, wow, my legs are really nice, but my legs are like, I don't like, he's the perfect form. He's the original archetype of beauty, Satchitananda Vigraha, eternity, knowledge and bliss. That's his form. Perfect. All charming, all attractive. Therefore, we are part of him and he loves us because we are part of him. Let's go back to our constitutional position, to our constitutional memory that we are parts of Krishna. Let's do that. And if we do that, we'll also be eternal, full of knowledge, and blissful, without a limit, without any condition. And we'll be very spontaneous, because when we become spontaneous, and really without, when we drink, whatever. We become spontaneous when we find the object of our love, when we find the person we love. Then completely and purely, then we open up our heart and we become perfectly spontaneous. So in that stage of Prema Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, then it's Krishna is yours. Krishna becomes yours. He's totally vulnerable, totally servant of his servant. You have conquered him. You have conquered the incomparable. Prabhupada said. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So are we ready for the arti? You ready for the article?
Take
Yeah. Maybe one or two questions if there are, and then we'll have Harky. Excuse me, sir, please.
Did Srila Prabhupada ever kick impersonalists?
If he ever kicked physically impersonalists, not that I know, but he kicked them. But you know, the word is mightier than the sword, and mightier than the boot. You know, so his words in the Bhagavad Gita, I mean, they kicked them so hard that, you know, I think they're still bleeding, you know. So, any other questions, please?
You were speaking about cheating a few times.
The cheating propensity.
Cheating, yeah. Krishna, he doesn't cheat us.
No.
We try to cheat him. We cheat each other. Now, I know it's not contradictory, but it's also said that Krishna is the greatest cheater.
Yes.
So could
Yes.
you tell a little
And you
bit
know
about-
who he cheats for? For his devotees. He will even cheat for his devotees. If a devotee, just like I was telling this story, I'll also share it with you. When I was preaching in India many, many years ago, in Bengal, I remember we had one preaching program inaugurated by Srila Prabhupada. It was called Nittai Pada Kamalam. It was a boat that would go on the Ganges. And sailboat. No, we had the sailman, and I mean the seaman. We would have probably drowned, you know, after 2 hours. But so we had these people governing the boat. There were a number of devotees, and we had the deities of Nittai Pada Kamalam, Nittai Goranga on the boat. I was the pujari. So, and the cook. Yeah, only rice and dal. All those things. But anyway, we would go on the Ganges, stop in the villages, and distribute the small guitar gun, small Bhagavad Gita in the form of poetry in Bengali, done by Srila Prabhupada. Guitar gun, it's called. We would go in the villages and sell these books, you know, with the deities also, you know, Nittai Pada Kamala, and distribute some prasad. It was nice, very wonderful, you know. And so one time, one person came and, you know, was dressed, you know, like an officer, like somebody. You know, of course, there were villagers, so, you know, he wasn't wearing an Armani suit, but he was dressed, you know, elegant, you would say, for that place. So he says, why are you preaching this Krishna? He said, well, because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God and he is the most wonderful person. I said, no, Krishna is not. He is a cheater, he said. He is a cheater and he's not honest. He cheats on his word. Karna is the most.
Karna.
He said, Karna is the most, let's say, worshipable, kind of respectful person. Because he said, Krishna, he gave his word that he wouldn't fight in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but when Arjuna was almost to succumb to Bhishma, he took the wheel and he broke his word and he went against Bhishma to kill him. And he went against Bhishma to kill him. So, you know, what kind of God is there? Why you worship him as God? He cheated. You know, he didn't keep his word. He didn't maintain his word. He has no honor, he said. He has no dignity, you know, like this. While Karna, he said, no, I mean, he was infatuated. I mean, he was trying to preach them really heavy. So he said, Karna, you know, even though Indra went to see him, disguised as a Brahmin, to cheat him, because Indra is the father of Arjuna. He wanted to protect Arjuna. Karna was born with his armor and earrings. He couldn't be defeated because it was the sun god that's given. You know, he couldn't be defeated. He couldn't be killed. So, but Indra knew that, you know, he had made the promise that whatever a Brahmin asks me to give, I'll give. So even though he knew that was Indra disguised as a Brahmin, they went to ask him for his armor and his earrings. He gave, even, the blood, because they were part of his body. He stuck them out, don't ask me if he went for plastic surgery afterwards, whatever it is. It took everything out and he gave it. Tokarna is, but that's the ignorance of a materialistic moralist. Why did Krishna do this? Why did he give a word and he was almost to break it? Why? Out of love for Arjuna. So, in this way he's a cheat. He wants to keep his promise, he wants to give good example, but for my devotee, I'll do anything out of love. Because out of love, you will do anything. If you really love someone, you'll do anything. You'll sacrifice your dignity, you'll sacrifice anything. So Krishna, in that sense, is a cheater. And he's also a cheater to those who want to cheat him. Now you want to cheat him? He's better than you. Why? Because he's in your heart. Now you're thinking, I'm cheating him, I got this ace in the sleeve, and he knows already, he helped you to put it there, so, how can you cheat him, so it's just, you can't cheat him, he has a million aces in the sleeve, so he can't cheat him. But he is the best cheater. Don't challenge him. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.